Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Hello, hello, hello. Well, this morning I will be going solo. My guest was not able to make it, and that's just fine. It does happen, but the show must go on. So we are here. And today we are going to be talking about leadership. And this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart. I love leadership. I've taken leadership classes as a what do you call it? When you go to work and you have that they do your tuition reimbursement. And when I get tuition reimbursement, I want to go to school, and I always go to the college and I take a leadership class because it's constantly changing. Because society is constantly changing, our mindsets are constantly changing. We as beings are evolving. So leadership is one area in business that has to constantly stay in the new, in the now, in the know, because we're constantly evolving as people. So today, I want to actually go into talking about leadership. And I do have this quick quote that I know people always have this question: can anybody be a leader? And yes, everybody is born to be a leader. We're all born to be leaders. We're all born to be great. We're all born to be creators that we are. We are all born to be leaders. However, we are not all teachable. And you have to be willing to learn to be a leader because of a lot of the things that we have been taught over the years through school and different things like that does not actually teach you to be a leader, but it just teaches you how to manipulate information enough so you can understand it to do certain things, certain tasks. Leadership is quite different. Leadership is more having an empathetic responsibleness to you without being overly bossy and controlling. You don't want, somebody who is micromanaging you. You don't want somebody who is so controlling that everything you're doing, you're in your mind as a team lead, a team member, you're thinking, why don't you just do it? And nothing that I'm doing is right that the way you want it done. So why don't you do it? But as employees, of course, they're not going to say that, but they're thinking it. So if you're micromanaging, you're kind of like being a little bully, right? So you're controlling, you're trying to make sure things go the way you want them to go. And that's not how you want people to feel in the company and your team. Because when they're feeling like they're not part of the team, they're feeling more or less like a burden, or even like they're in the way, then they're not feeling more like a team member, but like, just somebody who's there. You make people not want to come to work. They're looking like, I don't want to get up and go to work. And a lot of times people don't want to go to work and they don't want to do, or participate at the job. It's because of the lack of engagement with the leaders, not understanding what the leaders really want, and definitely not even understanding who the leaders are. And a lot of times you really have to make who you are known to your team and show a little bit of vulnerability so they can understand who you are. They can get a feel for who you are. And once they get comfortable with who you are, they will become loyal to you and what your overall goal and mission is for the business. They can see your vision. They can understand your vision because they start to care about your vision. They care about the mission of the business, and they care about the overall success of the company. So your leaders have to be strong. Your leaders have to be understanding, and your leaders definitely have to be empathetic. I have an entire workshop that I do with corporate coaching, and they're 4-month sessions. You got 4 months of personal development, 4 months of self-awareness, and 4 months of mindfulness. So all 4 of those lead into what builds a great leader. And this is something that I put together, and I totally love it. And I came up with this system of doing leadership coaching for corporations because while I was in corporate America, working as a construction project manager, I got asked that question a lot by different employers, different clients is, Desiree, how do you do it? You're hitting the budget, you're hitting the deadline, you have an amazing team that is getting it done. And a lot of the times the team goes above and beyond. How do you do it? How do you constantly keep hitting this? And I got that from residential construction to small, use the industrial construction and even commercial construction. And then even on the client side, because I actually worked on the client side for MGM, and I was doing the hiring of contractors to get projects done, and they had to come to me. So I was like the third party project manager and client because I worked for the client. And I also worked for general contractors. So I was on that general contractor side, and I had to have clients that I worked for. So I was able to be on both sides. I also was a project manager and an assistant project manager, as well as a coordinator. So in construction, you start off as a coordinator, and then you move up as assistant project manager. I did. Sometimes you're going in as a superintendent in the field or construction manager in the field. I actually went right to being an assistant project manager. Actually, I went to a project manager in residential. And then as I went into commercial, I was a project manager for the majority of the time. It wasn't until later in my career that I decided, after doing a lot more personal development work, looking at the mind, how it works with neuroscience, and also the metaphysics side of it, looking at my spirituality, I wanted to have the experience of being just an assistant project manager. Of course, I had to, as a project manager, be my own assistant project manager. But when you're both at the same time, it's really hard for you to distinguish the feeling, the actuality, the experience as an assistant when you're the project manager and the assistant project manager, because you're busy running jobs and everything is just tied in together as what you need to get accomplished for that project. But as an assistant project manager, it's specific duties that you have. And I did actually step down and with the last employer that I worked for and became an assistant project manager because I wanted the experience of what it feels like to be an assistant to a project manager versus being the project manager. So for me, I found that it's a lot easier running all the jobs myself and being the project manager and the assistant project manager versus being an assistant or working with an assistant. Because sometimes the flow is off and sometimes it's perfect. You have to get the perfect rhythm between two people that can actually be a project manager and assistant project manager to make it work well. Because the assistant has to be able to read the body language and read nonverbal language from the project manager to be able to be a very successful project manager. And that's really where I want to go with leadership, right? So all of these things led up to me understanding leadership on a way different level. I've gone to school for it. I've taken leadership classes. I've taken management classes. I've taken business classes. I've taken, so many different, things as far as communication, verbal communication, nonverbal communication, intercultural communications. So I've taken a lot of different communications and leadership classes. So I love to go deep and have a deeper understanding into all of that, right? So for me, leadership means being present for your team. It means being empathetic when things are going on with one of your team members, because people do have a personal life that they have to deal with as well. It's not just professional. So understanding that you're going to bring your personal life to work. And I know a lot of employers used to say, leave your personal business at home and I need you focused at work. Well, I learned and I knew that wasn't correct for me and my understanding, because your personal life is a part of your life. And a lot of times you get those personal phone calls during your professional day, and yes, even though you tell people don't call me, don't, text me, let me focus on work, they're still going to do what they want to do because you can't control everything that everybody does, right? So there are times that you still have to get, you still get those personal conversations at work, even if it's at lunch, on your break, you still get those interactions of what's going on at home. So for me, it wasn't just about the tasks that need to be done at work. It was also being mindful enough to pay attention to my team when I can see that something is wrong with someone, that something is really bothering someone, pulling them to the side and having, hey, let's go to lunch together. Let's take a break together. Let's take a walk on our break or on our lunch. I would spend time with that person when I saw them. I didn't wait till the one-on-one meeting or until we had another different type of meeting or I happened to catch them alone. No, let me pull you to the side and let's see what's going on. I'm concerned about your mental well-being because we're here at work and we have a deadline we have to hit, and it is also tied to our bonuses and money and different things that you want. So let's find that incentive to get you focused at work, and let's see if we can figure out what information that I can help you with for home to make you feel like you don't have to carry that burden by yourself, because that's basically what it is. People are carrying the burdens to work because usually they're the main person at home that everybody runs to and goes to, and they are the backbone of home. So you have people who are the backbone of home. They can't just leave their problems at home. It's easier for somebody who's not the backbone of home to leave them at home because they're like, I'll just deal when I get home. But when you're the backbone, it does take a lot for you to deal with what's going on at home and what's going on at work, because it's added pressure. And when you get overwhelmed, you're not thinking correctly, you're not thinking clearly. And that's what you need to do as a leader. You need to think clearly. You need to think correctly, because every decision on that job, on that project that day depends on your mental clarity. As a leader, you really have to understand that. Okay. So for me, what I did was I would not even answer my phone. If I saw that my husband or my kids or something like that was calling, if it wasn't the school and I knew the school number, if they weren't calling me, that I wasn't answering the phone, because I knew that it wasn't a dire emergency. And if it is a dire emergency, to call my phone twice back to back, and I'll answer the phone. But if it's not back to back, don't answer. I'm not going to answer if I'm busy or if I need to have focus at work. So you have to be in control of dividing your focus from home and work, and when to switch it on and off, and being able to leave them at home and have some control over what goes on at home, and then making sure it doesn't spill over into your professional day, because you need to be, you have to be present, you have to be focused, and you have to be ready for your day every single day. That doesn't exclude any day. If you're at work, you got to be present. You got to be there. And as leaders, some of us as leaders, especially in construction and project management jobs, there's a lot of different project managers in different types of jobs, not just construction. But as a project manager, no matter which area of project management you're in, project managers wear so many different hats and have so many things going on that everybody is not really technically built to be a project manager, because it's a lot of stress. It's a lot on your plate all the time. So if you're not used to having that pressure on you on a consistent basis, you're not really built to be a project manager. That's really different. You have leaders in all different areas. You can still be a leader. Project managers are a little different. But if you're able to be a project manager and you're successful at one, you're definitely fit to be an amazing leader, because you wear so many hats. You wear more hats than a leader does. You actually have more going on than most leaders do. You have, multiple things that you're balancing, including home and work. And it's not easy, because usually if you're an amazing leader and a project manager in your career field, you're also that at home for all of your family members. And a lot of times not even family members that live with you. And some of the times the family members that don't live with you. So being that leader is highly important, that you take care of yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, because you need all three of those aspects to keep your energy level up, to keep your focus on point, and to also keep the passion you have to be a leader and to help people and to be there for people and to make sure things go the right way so you could be successful. You and your team can be successful. So I want to look at a couple of things. Leaders create a vision, managers create goals. So this is the difference between leaders and managers. I actually did a leader-manager comparison in a speaking event that I did probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And definitely something that to look at, because it's a big difference between being a manager and being a leader. Now, we're not talking about your titles. Your title could mean you could be a VP, a superintendent, a project manager, a manager. You could be a construction manager. You could be a director. You could be a VP, president, whatever title is out there. Leaders and managers depends on the personality and the lessons of what this person brings to the table. So you're only classified as a leader or a manager depending on how you respond to your position that you're in. So it doesn't matter if you're a VP or president, if you are a director, if you are a superintendent, if you're a project manager or manager, it doesn't matter what your title is. That doesn't mean that you're a leader. It just means that you have a title where leaders live. And you should want to really connect to leadership qualities so you can be the best in your position. Don't get the title and not put in the work to learn how to be who you're supposed to be in that position. Because yes, I always say I don't like expectations, but when it comes to professionalism, there are always expectations that you have. When it comes to your personal life, no, you should not have expectations on other people's lives, because they are free to be who they are, and you should allow them to be just that. If it doesn't work for your life, move on, adjust, or change. But when it comes to your professional life, there are expectations, and the expectation when you have certain titles is being a leader, not a manager. So we're definitely going to look at the difference between leaders and managers. Leaders create a vision, meaning they allow the conversation. They're able to articulate the vision and the mission of the business overall to each individual person on the level that they're able to understand the information. Again, looking at each individual person on your team, you have to understand that person enough to be able to communicate to them effectively so they can get the full understanding and overstanding of what the mission and vision is. You are able as a leader to articulate to each individual person as like a teacher with a class full of children. They have to understand how each child learns so they can teach that child the right way or come up with multiple learning styles to teach the classroom as a whole. So with one-on-one in business, we're able to do it individually instead of as a whole. So learning your team and understanding how they learn. Are they visual? Are they auditory? Are they, physical? How do they learn? What level of learning do they have? So what words do you choose to use to help them understand how you're articulating the vision for the job so they can understand the vision for the company as well? In the right vision. You don't want to give them a skew vision because you kind of talked over their head. So now they're walking out with 60% of the information you gave them. The other 40% is out. So as leaders, you've got to be able to communicate effectively with everyone, not just the ones you're comfortable with. That's the difference. Managers create goals. Managers will tell you what their goal is for you because it ties into the overall goal of the organization and the SWOT analysis that they did for that year, because they need the SOPs to match and they need you to understand what the SOPs are so you can actually accomplish the goals they have for you. As a leader, you ask them what goals they have for themselves and allow them to choose the goals that they want to have for themselves in their personal and professional life, or allowing their professional life to dictate the goals that they have to also catapult over to their personal life to gain interest in them overall. So if you actually care about somebody's personal life and professional life, they actually feel like you care about them as a whole. That's showing empathy, and it's helping them be comfortable and open up to you. And I also have this as part of my training program as well, looking at that entire aspect of empathy, also looking at the aspect of writing a personal and a professional plan for each team member. I actually have the entire session, a 4-month session of writing those plans out, personally and professional plans for each team member, and then helping them work through it to understand how they accomplish those goals with the growth of their mindsets, creating new neurons and neuroreceptors to help them be more creative and effective for your business overall. Yes, I know that was a lot. However, in short, helping your team understand more about who they are, what that business can do for them, and how it can help them in their personal life to increase their overall goals for their life in their family. Got it? Okay. So we don't want to choose their goals for them. We want them to let us know what their goals are for their life, marry them with our professional goals and vision and mission for the business, and tie them all together in a nice, pretty bow to allow them to feel empowered, to feel like they're growing, and to feel like they're being heard at work, and it's not like a dead end job. I'm not just going to work for a paycheck. I'm just going to work for survival. No, you want them to come to work because they love being there. They believe in your vision, and they are loyal to you as a person, as an owner. Okay. 2, leaders are change agents. This is like very profound, very, very huge, very big. You have to be a change agent if you want to be a leader. Basically saying, be creative, be highly creative. If you see something that can be better, change it. Change the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, SOP, standard operating procedures. You want to change the operating procedures to make the system work better, stronger, more diligent than ever before, more effective, more efficient. You want the system to be better overall. And as a leader, you're looking for those holes and gaps in the system that you currently have to fill those gaps and holes, to also look at the system currently that is there and present and make sure that it is working and functional with the new gaps and holes you just filled, because it was working fine with the gaps and the holes. But once you fill those gaps and holes, like any other engine in a car or any other engine and motor in anything, it needs pulleys and hoses, and it needs to have a certain pressure and sensors. There's things that also go with this. So if you're using an old sensor, it may not work effectively with your new water pump or your new whatever it is in your engine. It may not work effectively. So when you change one part of your system, you need to look at all parts of the system to make sure they are in coherent and alignment with the new changes that you implemented, even if those changes are not even in the same area, the same department, the same person, the same product. It doesn't matter where the change was. Look at everything. And as a project manager, this is something that we just trained to do, is look at the entire system. If we change some part of the framing in the wall, if we have a cabinet that goes in that wall, or wall units, or let's say wallpaper, tile, paint, if we even have flooring that goes into that, we look at all of those things and how it's going to change it. Because once you change the dynamic of that wall, it is very possible it's going to change the dynamic that everything that it touches. So have that same thought process as a leader when you're looking at your SOPs, when you're being that change agent and you're making changes in your standing operating procedures that is going to fit with your SWOT analysis to make it stronger and to make sure that you hit that EBITDA at the end of the year. You want everything to be in alignment. And that is what you're looking at. That is how you increase the profit and also increase your morale, your employee morale. You want to increase them both, because when you increase your employee morale, you're going to increase your bottom line, right? So managers maintain the status quo. Well, this is how we've always done it, so this is how we're going to continue to do it. Well, this is how it's always worked, so why change it if it works? It works for your old system, but when new things are introduced into the market, into the economy, into the social economic structure of this world, then you do have to change things. You can't be a manager and feeling like, well, it works, it's fine. Don't get comfortable in a situation ever. Leaders do not get comfortable. Leaders are always uncomfortable and always looking for that next move that's going to change how things work. So as a leader, you're never satisfied with what the standard operating procedures are at the time, because things change. And as a leader, guess what else you do? You do a lot of research, you do a lot of reading, you do a lot of networking, you stay in the know of what's going on with the social economic structure and also within your, your realm of business, your niche. You stay in the know of those things, because when something changes, a new product is introduced, a new system is introduced, a new service is introduced, and it is changing the market, you got to be on that. Because as soon as the changes, are you seeing the changes take place, the first thing a leader is doing, they're looking at how they can change the change. How can I change this change? Yeah, you got me one up on this change. But guess what? Now I'm taking your change and I'm gonna improve your change and make it better. And now we're back on top again. It's not being competitive, it's being creative. And that's another thing a leader definitely needs to understand. Don't be competitive. That competitive energy does not help you to understand and see the bigger picture on how you can create the best environment for your business. Be a creator, not a competitor. So it is a difference. Creators are leaders, competitors are managers. That is the difference. That is a mindset. You got to understand that as a leader. You do not want to be competitive. You want to be creative, because allow your creative juices to just unfold your business in so many ways that you never even see that vision until it actually happens. Boom. For instance, Jeff Bezos and Amazon. He started off in his garage doing online bookstores and selling certain products little by little out of his garage and doing drop shipping through there. And he just blew up. He didn't, he didn't panic when the pandemic happened. He didn't lay people off during the pandemic. He stayed on his creative side. And as he kept creating more and more aspects to his business and growing his business astronomically, when the pandemic came, he saw that as an opportunity. He bought another business and took all of his employees that were needed to be laid off. And instead of laying them off, he cross-trained them into another department that he just bought and expanded his business. That's what I'm talking about. That's a true leader. That's what leaders do. That is a change agent leader. That is somebody who is changing the game. He is taking, okay, well, Walmart has the store now where they have all these things. You can go get your car fixed at Walmart. You can grocery shop at Walmart. You can go do clothes shopping. You can buy anything and everything for your house and your car at Walmart. Jeff Bezos took Walmart, put it on online, and made it global. That's exactly what he did. He took Walmart, put it online, made it global, and it is killing the game. He took what Walmart changed in Kmart and Target because they didn't have groceries, but they were like a store. So Walmart's like, well, how can I change the game? Like, how can I change this? Let's add groceries and let's add automotive. Come get your car fixed, go grocery shopping, and come pick up some things for the kids of the house. Then your car's ready, jump in your car and go home. And guess what? One-stop shop. Amazon did the same thing online. One-stop shop. Came up with an amazing membership program to make sure you get your products faster. You don't mind paying that $119 a year to get your products within a day or two off of Amazon versus waiting for 5 to 7 to 12 to 14 days to get it. He expedited a lot. He added shipping. He added trucks. He added so many different areas in his business that his employees can just move from one department to another department and everybody is in sync. It is an alignment. That is what it looks like. That is what I've been saying for years. And I keep getting people telling me, no, you have to find your one niche. You have to find that one way, that one product, that one. I'm so sick of hearing the one. And I'm like, why are we sticking with one thing? Well, you're a coach. What kind of coach are you? I coach people. Well, you can't coach everybody. What is your niche? People are my niche. Yeah, but it's not everybody. So who? Okay, it's everybody with a brain. That's who I coach, is everybody with a brain. Okay, so you're gonna force me to say, okay, well, I coach 20 to 50 years old in a leadership position, corporate coaching only. There you go. Corporate coach. I'm a corporate leadership coach. So you made me find a niche, and you made me put it like that, so it's not so broad. But what's wrong with that? We're creators. We can handle whatever we put our mind to. We can handle multiple things. I know, I'm just saying, that's just me. As a leader, I am going to look outside the box. I'm also going to create outside the box. And I'm also the one who always looks at, what can we change? What can we make it different? And I will even make a change and then look at the change that I made to see if I can improve the change that I just changed while the change is going on. Change leader. Don't go with the status quo. Don't go what you normally go with. That's not it. You don't want to do that. That's not a leader. That is a manager. And FYI, I do have my book coming out. I'm not disclosing my book completely, but it is a leadership book. And I'm going to be having my book written soon and working on it, just trying to get a little healthier here. So I got a lot of things on my mind to create that I want to bring to you. And that's definitely going to be one on leadership, because I think it is highly important. Like I said, that is like my baby. That is what I'm passionate about, is leadership. Also, leaders are unique. Oh my gosh. And I love it, because I love being different. I love being me. I love being Desiree. And not, everybody like, who's Desiree? Oh, now I know who Desiree is, because I am very transparent. I'm very vulnerable. I'm open. I don't have any hidden secrets and agendas and things that I just don't want nobody to know about. I don't care what you know about me. I'm an open book, because I don't have any secrets. I don't have none of that. So that's why I do a lot of the things that I do, because I don't have a closed off part of my life. And a lot of my team members, I've disclosed a lot of parts of my life. I have been vulnerable. I have talked to them. I have let them know that, what I was going through and what I did to get through it, because those stories help them to fight harder in whatever they're going through. So that's how I've kept my team strong, by being vulnerable with them, telling them, the issues and things that I'm going through at home, and issues and things I'm going through, with the business. And they're looking like, well, you shouldn't tell the employees that, because they'll use it against you. Look, you can't use nothing against me if I'm already using what could be against me, against myself. You can't use nothing against me. What you gonna use against me? What you gonna tell? You telling secrets that I don't want nobody to know about? I'm not doing anything that I don't want nobody to know about. So, but even in the interim, if I had to go and let somebody go and fire them, I don't care what business you know about me. I'm still fire you. We're not going to get that close. You do keep, you don't have a guard up, but you do keep an understanding that one day you may have to let this person go. One day you may have to transition this person onto something bigger and better. And you're going to have that tough conversation with them sometimes. If they fall off from time to time, you're going to have to be tougher on them to even get them back motivated, or to find out if they're able to be back motivated and to let them go. There's things that you got to choose and to understand as a leader. And it's not the fact of what people know about you and what they don't know about you. It's really how you respond to all the information and situations that are going on between your team and yourself, and being able to compartmentalize them, and also to shelf them when needed and do what needs to be done. That's the mindset. It's not, well, I can't let you know too much about me because I don't want to become too much of your friend. There is no too much of your friend. We're friends and we're cool, but this is business. You're fired. Not like that, but like that. You know what I mean? But you have to very much so separate your emotions from that situation. When you have tough conversations, learn how to separate your emotions. And as a leader, you should be able to separate and to compartmentalize your emotions and control your emotions. That is a big thing with being a leader, learning how to control your emotions. And I had to do a lot of that because there's a lot of times that I wanted to just blow up. I wanted to just really just go in on someone. You cannot do that. As a leader, you have to be very tactful, and you have to understand that how you articulate the information that needs to be said all depends on the words you use and the person you're speaking to, right? So first of all, don't get so caught up in your emotions that you start speaking to somebody on your team that you know that you're saying some really big words they don't even understand, because you know they're not even on that, they're not there on that level. That's not them. Or you're speaking to somebody and you're being irate, where most people, when you're speaking to them irately, they tune you out anyway. It's a complete tune out. They just tune you out. They're not even trying to hear you, like, at all, because that's a trigger for a lot of people, which means you hit that trigger, they're going to return fire with fire. So as a leader, we understand these things. We know how we have to speak to people, and we know which words to use on who we're speaking with to make sure that the message still comes across clearly and understandably, to where we can make changes and we can move forward. Because as a leader, your whole focus is solutions and moving forward. It is not moving backwards. It is not staying stagnant. It's not like, waiting for things to know. You're making sure you're being a change agent, and you're also very unique with it, because every leader is unique in their own way. And you have to, as an owner, allow your leaders to be creators and to be innovators in your company, so they can lead by example, so other people can create, because you don't know what gems you could find inside of your team or your leaders unless you allow them the freedom to create. Managers copy. Managers will go and copy something that somebody else did. They're not getting ready to try to be unique with it. They're not even going to try to just take the idea and make it theirs and change aspects of the idea to create something completely new. No, they're going to copy exactly what you did. If you put the ice in your ice machine at 2:00, they're going to put ice in their ice machine at 2:00. They're going to refill theirs. They may not even have the customer base that you have, but they're going to go and fill that ice machine at 2:00, even though they don't even have any customers in the lobby. So managers copy. Leaders are very unique in their style and how they actually present themselves to their team, and what they expect from their team, from the goals, from the mission and vision statement, and how they need to follow out those goals to make sure that the company is successful at the end of each year, and the EBITDA is showing just that. Leaders take risks. Leaders are risky, and you do have to be risky as a leader. There was a lot of times in constructions I had to take a risk, and it was a gamble, because if I thought wrong, it cost me. And that wasn't a good thing. As a project manager, construction, you don't want to hit that job, that budget on that job. That's the last thing you want to hit. So there are times that I got a little risky, and I would get risky, and I'm like, let's just go for it. I would introduce a new product to my client, or to, my team, my leadership team. I would have to introduce a new product to them. I would have to introduce a new way of doing something. I may even have to introduce a new team member, external team member that I'm bringing on board. And hey, I gotta throw this in here. Well, what are you doing? Well, we had this idea, we had this thought, we ran into this issue, and this is the way we're going to, attack this problem for a solution. So you always got to have solutions. You always got to know what you're doing. As a leader, when you're going to your client or to your boss, your upper leaders, you are not going to them with a problem like a manager. A manager goes to them with a problem. As a leader, you go to them with a solution. You tell them, this is the problem and this is what I came up with as a solution. We are already underway on this solution and making the changes needed. to make sure that we resolve this issue quickly and we can keep moving forward, because the quicker you resolve issues, the better off you are. It's another trait of a leader. You resolve issues quickly. You don't hold on to them. You don't marinate on them. You don't get confused about them. You don't try to go ask everybody and then still be confused. You come up with solutions, which means you know exactly which person to call, who you need to contact, who you need to ask questions of to get more or deeper understanding. And then you make a choice and a decision to do what's necessary to keep moving forward. Managers, they don't. You get frustrated. You're not in control of your emotions. When something blows up and all over the place, you're all over the place with what's all over the place. As a leader, you got to stand your ground. You cannot be all over the place. You have to be very clear-minded, very clear-headed, which is why mindfulness is very big for leaders, because you don't want your mind full of a lot of things. You want to be mindful and be able to think quick on your feet. Managers control risk. They don't want to take risks because managers think that taking risks are going to cost them. It's going to change their perfect little old system. They're going to have to adjust, and they're going to have to learn something new, which managers don't want to do. People who are stuck in management, they like it to stay the same and stay stagnant because it's comfortable for them to come to work and it makes it easy. It makes their job easy. Leaders don't look for what's easy. They look for what's necessary. And if it comes with a challenge, so be it. If it comes easy, cool, I won this time. But we don't run from a challenge. We don't run from risks. We actually head right for them because we know that the solution in that challenge and that risk is going to be rewarding. It's always rewarding, always. Leaders are in it for the long haul. Leaders are definitely in it for the long haul. We're always looking at the bigger picture because our drive comes from our future vision, our forecast of what we see coming, what we feel coming. And a lot of people don't understand what I just meant by that, but I mean feel, intuitively feel coming. There's a lot of times that I was on a construction site and there were issues and I felt them coming before they actually appeared and manifested in my reality of being there and a problem on a job site, but I felt it coming. And usually when I felt something coming, I'm always more unaware, more on alert. I'm actually walking like the project more. I'm talking more to the team to see what's going on, what's changed, what's different. Something is about to happen. Something isn't right. I feel it. And as soon as something pops off, usually doing it the way that I do it and doing that walk and making your rounds, you usually find what it is that you feel, especially if you're talking to somebody. And sometimes your team will have an inclination that something is not going to go right because of something that they just did or saw somebody do, but they're not really sure if it's going to go right or not, or if it's wrong. But sometimes when you go and talk to them, they'll let you know, well, I saw so-and-so do such and such, but I don't know. I just never seen that done. And I don't know how that's going to work because I don't know. It's just not my area. I don't know. It just feels a little off, right, to them. They'll tell you. So when you get that, then you go and inspect what he was talking about. And then you go and get not the person who was working on it, but another person on his team or another trade that does that exact same thing. And you ask them, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, well, we did that on another project and it was disastrous. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Then you have them change it. You have to be in tune with your intuition, your instincts, and your insight, your intellect, your knowledge for what you're doing, because that will give you the whole puzzle to finding issues, possible issues, or, potential issues that you can solve immediately. And the faster, like I said, the faster you solve things, the better off you are. That's a leader. That's what makes a leader unique. That's what made me unique. So I'm just giving y'all all the nuggets from what I learned from being a project manager in construction and what the feedback that I got from a lot of team members and a lot of leaders that I had that I was under for my projects. You know, they would tell me certain things, and I would have to get that deeper understanding of how I'm making things happen, and how do you go through. Hey, like one time I got this project handed over to me from another project manager, and I'm already knowing by watching this other project manager, it's going to be chaotic because this project manager is all over the place. Mine is all over the place, unorganized. So I knew when I got this project and I got the file that was probably about 3 or 4 inches thick, that it was going to be some extra work for me to go through this because I knew that it was going to be unorganized. And it took me probably 3 days to go through all that information that from that other project manager that I received. It took me 3 days. And for me, that was upsetting because I'm like, that's 3 days I could have been actually doing something productive, but I'm actually pulling this project apart to even understand it before I can even start it. And then after I got it all together, it took me another 2 days to get caught up on all the information. So basically it took me a whole week to even understand what was going on in this project, information to understand it. So after I did, now I have to take the following week and go fix all the issues that I already see in this project before I even touch the project. So then it's like, okay, now let me go fix all these issues and let me get the project to a point and a position that I can actually be successful in this project. And guess what? I actually killed that project, got put in a magazine behind that project. That project was at the buffet in Cravings Buffet inside the Mirage Hotel and Casino on the Strip. And it was their entire self-serve revamp. So I had to actually make that entire area, parts of that area self-serve, especially the drink station, self-serve in different areas of their self-service because of how they were changing their buffet style. And I did introduce new products, a whole new company with some products that never been out there in any area of doing that kind of caliber of work with the ice machines. And this product was an invention that they came up with just years before. It was a new product. And that was a risk that I took. I jumped out on the limb. I took that risk because it was beneficial for the project overall. And the company was called IceLink. And I was in a magazine, 2 magazines that were global magazines behind me doing that one project that I had to pull completely apart, put it back together for a deeper understanding because it was chaotic. I had to fire some contractors. I had to reallocate money to the project, hire some new contractors, and make it work. Plus, taking and jumping out on a risk with 2 different companies to bring them in to introduce a brand new product to the Strip that was never used. And not only that, but I did get accommodations from MGM on how happy they were that I did that. And they started implementing that same system that I took a risk on throughout all of their properties on the Strip in Las Vegas. So that was a major change. That's what leaders do. Leaders take that risk. They go outside their boundaries. They make up new rules. They get creative and they make the system better. And I did make the system better. And that was such an amazing project. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of complications that because it was a new system, we didn't know how it was going to work. And we did run into a lot of complications. And even with the complications, we still killed it, finished on time, made it look amazingly good for a 5-diamond property. And it is still functional and working today. And they are now using it across their systems in all their properties with MGM on the Strip. So that was really great. That's what leaders do. That's what you do as a leader. And I just want to give y'all that story really quick because that's what leaders do. You got to be that. And in it for the long haul, because when you have a lot of complications coming up and popping up, you don't have time to quit. And walking away is something, believe me, that is like in your mind, it is the best option to just walk away or quit. But when you are in the middle of a project and you have the understanding that no matter who comes behind you, to try to finish this project, they're going to be lost, because a lot of times in construction, whether you're a plumber, an electrician, HVAC has it pretty easy for the most part, but especially electricians, I think, have the hardest in framing, is when you're in there going behind somebody else or another business or company and trying to frame or run some wires for something. It is complicated because you have no idea what that other person did. There's no one way to do it. And since there's multiple ways to do it, and everybody sees it differently, electricians have it like horribly bad, like really, really bad, because you can run that wire up, you can run it down and go across, you can run it across this wall, through the middle of the wall. There's so many ways to run wire, and there's so many angles, and somebody might come up short with material on that job, and then they had to run it a whole completely different way than what it says on the blueprint. Happens all the time. The prints are there for guidance, but a lot of times in the field, those prints are redlined, which means they're changed constantly. You have so many changes. Architects have to keep up with all the changes in the field because what they actually drew out does not work in real life. And that happens, and leaders understand that. Things that you usually go with your upper leaders, your upper management, you go and you sit with them and you have this amazing plan. But as a leader, when you go back to the team, you got to know what works and what doesn't work. You got to be able to change that. You have to be able to redline it and modify whatever you need to modify to make sure it works. You can't just say, well, this is what they told me to do, so I'm just doing that. No, you got to see that it doesn't work, and you got to modify it and change it and go back to your upper management and tell them, hey, this did not work correctly. I had to do X, Y, and Z. Now it works like this. Can I get, ask for the blessing after you make the changes. Don't ask for forgiveness first. Don't go in there and ask for forgiveness after you've done it, because that's usually how we have to work. Managers think short term. They do. Managers are thinking about today and this week. They're not thinking about what may come up next month or next year, or maybe I should go look and be, on solutions and go look and see what maybe can change and what can be modified or what can be updated. They don't look at things like that. They're looking at right now, today, and what I'm doing today. They don't look at everything else. Leaders grow personally. And if you are a leader or call yourself a leader in a leadership position and you're not doing any personal development growth, which is why I do personal development in the training program that I have for corporate coaching, personal development, self-awareness, and mindfulness, that goes into personal development and growth as a leader. You need those things to grow. You need that on a consistent basis to grow, because the economy is constantly changing. Things are changing. Minds are changing. Humans are evolving, and you're changing as a person. So you constantly need personal development growth, constantly. And you need to be so self-aware that you understand when you need to change, when you need to grow some more, when you need to add more knowledge and education into your repertoire to get better. Managers rely on existing and proven skills. So yeah, things are proven and this is what's existing, but for the better part of explanation, when we're talking about things that happen spiritually, anything that is in your reality right now is already in the past tense. So think about it like that. As a leader, anything that is working right now today and that you see that is going on right now, it's in the past. That is now past tense. What can you change for the future to make it better and to make it more growth out of it, to make it more stable and more successful? What can you do? Leaders build relationships. Yes, they do. Leaders build a lot of relationships because anytime that they have anything going on, they need to grab that phone and, like a black book back in the day, grab that phone and be able to reach out and contact whoever you need to contact, because you don't know who you need when you need them. And you got to have a very big networking base and full of relationships so you can get things done that normally don't get done. Managers build systems and procedures and processes. They do build systems and processes, and they want to build them so they can give them to you and then you could just run with them and yay, they're doing it. I could sit back and hang out and kick my feet up. No. Leaders, you have to build relationships because you got to go a lot of times to your external team to get things done internally. You have to go to your external team to be able to produce a lot of things that you need to produce. Example, I did have, a couple of situations with a couple of employers that I had, and the money wasn't there to pay my external team. And I still needed things done right now to make sure that my project got done on time. So those are times that you got to pull favors from those relationships that you have. So understand that your relationships are big key to being a great leader, because you never know when you need to pull one of those resources to help you out in a situation. Leaders coach, managers direct. And this goes with the big boss theory. Leaders tell you what to do. They're going to sit up there at their desk and they're going to I call it point and shoot. Point and shoot. Oh, point. Yep, right there. Point right there. Do that, do that, do that, do this. They're big on allocating everything out to somebody else to get it done. Leaders, we're going to coach you through it so you have a deeper understanding of what you're doing. So when you do it again, it makes more sense to you and it gets easier for you to do it. With the understanding the why you're doing it, it gets easier for you to do it. And if this person that decided to transfer, promote up, or leave the company, you want this person to be able to cross-train another person to replace them in that same position to be just like them, and then you improve them and make them better for that same position. Managers just direct. They don't look at who's doing what or making anybody better. They just want you to do your job the way that they wrote it out for you to do it, not actually walks you through it to do it. Leaders walk you through it. Managers talk you through it. Okay. Leaders create fans. Managers have employees. Leaders do create fans because they're a fan of your personality. They're a fan of your empathy towards them. They're a fan of you actually caring about them and their livelihood, and they become very loyal to you. Leaders have loyal teams. Managers have teams that wake up on Monday morning and wish they can go right back to sleep and hate their job, don't want to go to work. And it actually puts a very big strain and struggle on your team and business overall. So when you're looking for a leader, there are certain qualities you want to look for, but also you want to make sure that that person is teachable to teach them. I have, like I said, an amazing coaching program that is 3 parts: self-awareness, personal development, and mindfulness, which are all 4 months long. Each session is 4 months, 1 hour, 1 week, 4 months. And you take all 3 courses, it's 1 year, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 hour a week for 1 year will change the entire platform of your business, because it is a coaching technique that leaders need, and it is built just for leaders coming from experience as a leader in construction project management. This is my play, my game, my game book. This is my game book. From all the questions that I got from all of my upper management on how I do what I do, how I got my team to do, X, Y, Z. How do I get my external teams? How do I build my external teams? How do I build my internal teams? How do I get my internal, external teams to work together? How did I get everybody to be so in alignment that every project finishes on time, under budget, and I killed the game in construction? A lot of times. I do have a reputation out there for that. I now want my reputation in coaching so I could teach leaders how to do what I did as a leader in construction. So that is all for our Saturday morning vibe for you business members and business entrepreneurs out there. That is some tidbit information. Take that and run with it. It is some very good information, because your leaders in your business will direct the vision and the mission and the direction your business is going in. Your leaders are your golden ticket, your golden nugget. They are the hub. They are the foundation of your business. Your leaders are your foundation of your business. You want your business to succeed and do amazing things, you need to have the right leaders. Once you have the right leaders in place, those leaders will make sure the right team is in place and everything will work smoothly. Get them some good coaching in those 3 areas that I mentioned. You can also find me or hire me at Desiree Williams at blanktag.org. My spelling is down there right under my picture, Desiree Williams at blanktag.org. You can also catch my website, which is being updated, www.blanktag.shop. And you can also find me on Facebook or Instagram at blank_tag_. You can also find me on my personal page on Facebook at Desiree Passionate One Williams. Put the passionate one in there, makes it amazingly easy to find me. And I am the passionate one that is passionate about business, success, leadership, and growth. Till next Saturday, I will see y'all again. Have an amazing weekend. Bye.